Good morning. I'm going to do my morning musing before I go for my walk. I'm going to try and speak on the transitioning phases that we go through in our soul evolution. I saw a post from a friend yesterday that expressed the typical despair that many of us will encounter on the awakening journey. And that despair looks like nothing in this world has any meaning. And it's hard to maintain one's momentum when nothing makes sense. When it seems like we're awakening up to the character role that the Matrix has formed and conditioned. And once we wake up to the realization that this is a movie, a game, a role play, we suddenly lose our sense for being, our purpose here, and that want for escaping this world, the want for leaving this life, becomes very strong. And in most cases, the only thing that will hold a person back from making their exit is the uncertainty of what is going to happen to our soul once we leave the body, what's going to happen when we make this abrupt choice for our soul to leave the body. And I'm not speaking in terms of you're going to go to hell when you take your own life, not in that sense, but as a soul, we chose to come into this incarnation, and we also agreed that we would forget everything that we chose before, that we would live in total amnesia and not know what this life is all about. And so, in that sense, like my personal concern, and I'm being honest, I still have human concerns. Some people present themselves that they're completely free of concerns. I don't know how accurate that is because they never express it on video. They never share those aspects of their being. I share everything. I share every now moment of my human person, my human beingness. And that still has moments of despair when I temporarily get disconnected from my higher self. When when suddenly my mind takes over more of my awareness, I fall into moments of despair. I fall into these episodes of what's the point of all this? But when I reclaim my whole self and my higher perspective, I can rebalance myself and sort of find meaning in this life. But it is sort of a roller coaster, but my ups and downs don't take such long periods of days and weeks and months and years like they used to. I can recover myself to my higher self relatively quickly. But I am very familiar with that feeling of what's the point of all this? Now that my ego is exposed and been outed as a hypocrite, a role player, that nothing that the ego does is real, we lose our sense of meaning here. You cannot live this life totally void of ego because it is the nature in this creation, in this manifestation, it is the nature of ego to look out for our preservance, to look out for our protection, to preserve the human form in all of its states, mental, emotionally, psychologically, and physically. It takes the responsibility for those four um, bodies, but the fifth one is our spiritual higher self that does come in after we awaken from the ego role and helps us balance and integrate the five elements, the five bodies. And until we successfully integrate all five dimensions, we're going to experience moments where each of our dimensions, our awareness, is fragmented. And if we get momentarily stuck um, in an isolated awareness of just the body, or just the mind, or just the soul, it can feel discombobulated and very unbalanced, very unsteady. And that's when we get these emotional highs and lows and experience these times of where we just don't want to be here. Um, I've gone through that phase, and I've also entered a new phase where I had to raise myself higher than just looking at earth plane alone and take a universal cosmic perspective, because um, we can take that feeling of uh, meaninglessness and senselessness into every dimension and ultimately become a nihilist and say that all of existence has no meaning. And that's usually when we lose all desire for life, for living. And that's a very hard place to be in. And I've been in that place too, in my gradual awakening. But we have to process this and integrate all dimensions into one, into this now moment. And so I helped myself with taking a cosmic perspective. And surely, um, if there are interplanetary life forms, if this is a symbiotic universe, then surely this cannot all be just a cosmic accident. And that there is a higher intelligence, a higher purpose to our being. We just have to evolve into that. And yes, I have moments where I despair of humanity. Um, I can only maintain my sanity by not tuning into the news and into the chaos that is breaking out. Um, that's how I maintain some balance, by going out in nature, by living isolated from that chaotic energy. But overall, when I look at the microcosm of my own evolution, I know the potential for humanity is there to rise into something much more beautiful. My evolution has been really wonderful and beautiful. And if I am a microcosm of the macrocosm, that brings back hope for me, for humanity, for planet Earth, for the cosmos, for the other uh, um, interstellar, intergalactic civilizations. It brings back hope. Evolution is a beautiful process, and I do believe that we are moving toward a golden age where universal harmony can be achieved. And that is the greater goal. That is the meaning of life for me, if you will, to have this awareness, to have this higher awareness that I am here in microcosmic form to help elevate the macrocosm, the whole. And we do this, like I said, through integrating our own universe, the oneness of our own five dimensions, into this harmonized one verse that is me. So yes, we have lost the role player, the previous role player that was programmed to live at just a 3D level, but we are more than the role player. You don't have to despair because your small role of that role player has become outdated, and that an upgraded version of yourself is now here to take over, to expand at a greater level than just living that small 3D persona that you were. You have greater meaning. It doesn't mean that you have no more meaning anymore. You now have greater meaning for life than you had before. And once you transition into this greater role, you can call it your greater character. That's a step up from your 3D self. Now you are a 4D self, or even a 5D self that has a greater perspective and greater vision. You can affect a greater realm than you previously did. So I hope this is helping shape the bigger picture. It's not that everything has become meaningless. Yes, it looks like that, but we have a greater purpose to fulfill. And that is the golden age, to usher in humanity and this planet into a golden age. It's not that you now have no more role to play, you have a bigger role to play. And the more you integrate your 5 dimensions, the more you will feel that meaningfulness in your life. And you will take on a new role, a new sense to being. So I hope I can encourage you to just hang tight, to get through that low phase, that meaningless phase, and just keep loving yourself, keep affirming yourself. You don't ever want to eschew any part of you. You want to evolve all parts of you, including the small ego that now has lost its significance. Just integrate, just take that back, love it, thank it for its service, for having protected you in previous times, and just integrate it and love it and make it part of the whole. And you will feel better as time progresses. I wish you a stable day. I wish you comfort today to make it through to today. Tomorrow will be different.